I hate Mardi Gras, Ethan Devereaux grumbled as he stalked along the bank of the Mississippi River. It was cloudy, cold, and slightly damp, and while the weather had no effect on him physically, combined with the cacophony of drunken revelry, it made him ornerier than a werewolf with mange. 6 college-age women cackled, nearly tripping over themselves as they stumbled toward him reeking of wine and sugary daiquiris, and he crinkled his nose. It's impossible to find a decent meal anywhere near the French Quarter this time of year. Lighten up, young one. Gaston took one of the women into his arms, planting what looked like a passionate kiss on her neck as her friends stopped to stare. The woman let out a moan, sliding her arms around him to grab his ass, unaware of the fangs sinking into her neck, and the meal she provided for the vampire before he pushed her away. "Can I at least get your number, sweetheart?" she drawled, rubbing her neck where Gaston had bitten her. Not even a scratch remained in the spot he'd pierced with his fangs. "I'm not looking for a regular meal, ma chère. Just a snack." Gaston winked and turned toward Ethan. "She's better than decent. I'm sure her friends are, too." Ethan shook his head. "No thanks. Have a nice night, ladies, and be careful out there." The woman's mouth dropped open at the rejection, but her friends linked arms with her and dragged her away. Staring out over the muddy river, Ethan took in the peaceful scene, trying his best to ignore the vexatious festivity behind him. Artificial lights dotting the suspension bridge stretching from the east to the west banks of the river cast an orange glow on the dark water, and a bird of prey silently swooped down from the sky, snatching a rodent from its hiding place in the brush, much like his mentor had done to the unsuspecting drunk woman. Like Ethan would do to someone sober before the night ended. He shuddered. The unmelodious noises behind him contrasted with the picturesque view of the river. Out-of-tune instruments blasted out something that was supposed to sound like jazz, and the shouting and laughter of dozens of inebriated partiers grated in his ears like sand between his butt cheeks. Why had he agreed to come here this evening? "You've got a little." Ethan wiggled a finger at the corner of his sire's mouth, where a drop of red marred his otherwise perfect pale skin. Gaston chuckled. "Whoops." He licked the blood from his lip as he smoothed his dark hair back, closing his eyes and swaying slightly while a vampire Ethan didn't recognize stalked toward them. A long black trench coat flapped around the man's ankles, revealing pinstriped pants and polished black shoes. He wore a bowler hat, and wispy blonde hair splayed around his ears. "Pardon me, gentlemen," he said with a British accent. "I need to see your license and identification, please." "My license?" Gaston stepped toward the man, puffing out his chest like a pissed-off peacock. "Have you no idea who I am? I've been in New Orleans as long as it's been a city." The man swallowed hard, but he held his ground. "You bit within the city limits. Therefore, it's within my jurisdiction to require proof of licensure." "I didn't know such thing." Gaston flicked his wrist dismissively. "You've no proof." "On the contrary, I have the evidence right here." He flashed his cell phone and tapped the screen, revealing a video of Gaston and the woman. Hell's bells and buckets of blood. I despise this newfangled technology. Gaston crossed his arms, lifting his chin defiantly. "Who are you? You don't work for the magistrate. You have no power here." The man flipped open a leather wallet to reveal the golden badge of the supernatural world order and a plastic card identifying him as Constable Watson. "Your dominion is under audit. I'm here to make sure world laws are being enforced properly." Satan's balls. If the SWO was in town, there'd be hell to pay for anyone who so much as sneezed on a human without the proper paperwork. Ethan slipped Gaston's wallet from his back pocket and showed it to the constable. "Here it is. He's been licensed from the beginning. Registered resident of New Orleans." "Give me that." Gaston snatched it and shoved it back into his pocket. "I'm the oldest vampire in Orleans Parish, older than the magistrate himself. I identify to no one." When he tipped to the left, unable to hold himself upright, Ethan grabbed his arm, steadying him. "You might consider limiting the number of drunken tourists you consume, Mr. Bellevue.